3 seconds. That's how long you'd survive on some of these planets before your body simply stops working. Not from an alien, not from a monster, from the planet itself. Let's start close to home. Step onto Mercury, and for a second, nothing feels wrong. It's just gray rock, silence, dust. But you're standing on a planet with basically no atmosphere, which means nothing is stopping the sun from cooking one side of it to 430 degrees. Hot enough to melt lead. Your suit starts failing before you've taken 10 steps. So you turn, chasing relief on the shadowed side. Bad move. Nearly 200 degrees below zero is waiting for you there instead. No safe middle ground. Just fire on one side of a rock and a freezer on the other. Next stop, Venus. And this one's different because NASA has studied every planet out there, and this is still the one they call the deadliest for a human being. From space, it actually looks kind of peaceful. Soft, pale clouds, almost pretty. But that's exactly the problem. It's hiding what's underneath. The moment you drop below those clouds, the air itself turns against you. It pushes down so hard, it's like being crushed nearly a kilometer underwater, except there's no water here, just gas acting like it. At the same time, the heat outside has already passed 460 degrees, hot enough to melt metal. And it doesn't even rain water on Venus. It rains acid, straight through clouds so thick that barely any sunlight ever reaches the ground. So there's no order to how Venus kills you. It's not first the heat, then the pressure, then the acid. It's all three at once before you'd even have time to understand what was happening. Keep going and you'd think the danger eases. It doesn't. Even out at Pluto, billions of miles from the sun, there's almost no atmosphere to speak of. Nothing to breathe, nothing to hold in warmth. Temperatures drop to nearly 225 degrees below zero. You wouldn't suffocate first here. You'd freeze solid within moments. But don't get comfortable, because Mars is next, and Mars plays a longer game. There's no instant crush waiting here, no melting heat. Instead, it's a slow unraveling. The air is too thin to fill your lungs properly. Radiation pours down 40 to 50 times heavier than on Earth, because there's no magnetic shield shrugging it off. And somewhere out on the horizon, a dust storm is building that could swallow the entire planet for weeks. You won't die in the first second on Mars. You'll just quietly run out of time. Now the ground disappears completely because Jupiter doesn't have one. You fall, and you keep falling, through winds ripping past at over 400 miles an hour, into pressure that tightens around you with every second. In 1995, NASA actually sent a probe down to see how far it could get. 58 minutes. That's all it survived before the pressure crushed it into silence. And that's without even mentioning the storm. Jupiter has a hurricane called the Great Red Spot, and it's bigger than Earth itself. Not bigger than a country, bigger than the entire planet you grew up on. It's been raging, without stopping, for centuries. Nobody knows exactly when it started. If you fell close enough to get pulled into it, winds inside could tear a spacecraft apart before the pressure even finishes the job. And even if you somehow avoided all of that, Jupiter's radiation belts are strong enough to kill within hours, sometimes faster, without you ever touching anything solid at all. Saturn looks familiar at first. Another giant planet. No ground to land on, just like Jupiter. But keep falling, and you notice the wind first. It's screaming past you now, over 1,800 kilometers an hour, one of the fastest winds anywhere in the solar system. At the same time, the cold is setting in fast, nearly 178 degrees below zero, enough to freeze you solid in seconds. But you're still falling, and the deeper you go, the worse it gets. The pressure keeps building, squeezing the gas around you so hard it stops acting like gas at all. It turns into liquid metal. So by the time the cold might have killed you, it won't even get the chance. The wind will have already torn you apart, or the pressure will have crushed you first. By the time you reach Uranus, everything goes quiet. No screaming winds, no violent storm waiting to greet you. And somehow, that's scarier. Because the real danger here is the cold. Nearly 224 degrees below zero, the coldest temperature anywhere in the solar system. That alone could freeze you solid within moments. But the cold isn't even what gets you first. There's no oxygen here either. So your body starts shutting down before the freezing temperature finishes the job. And somewhere deep below you, in a place you'll never reach alive, something incredible is happening. Scientists believe it's actually raining diamonds down there right now. Real diamonds, falling like rain. But you'll never see it. You won't survive long enough to get anywhere close. Last stop, Neptune, 4.5 billion kilometers from where you started this trip. And it saves the worst for last. Winds here don't just blow. They scream past at over 2,000 kilometers an hour, faster than sound itself. No oxygen, cold nearly as brutal as Uranus, storms violent enough to tear a spacecraft apart before the cold or the suffocation even get the chance to finish you off. 8 planets, 8 completely different ways to die. Fire, ice, crushing pressure, invisible radiation, wind faster than sound. And in the middle of all of it, just one quiet exception, not luck. An impossibly narrow set of conditions that all lined up in exactly the right place, around exactly the right star, for billions of years, without breaking even once. So next time you walk outside and just feel the wind on your face, remember everything you just survived to get there. Out of every single place we've ever measured, this is still the only one that lets you live. So the next time you complain about the weather, remember what you just watched. Out of everywhere in this entire solar system, this is still the only place that lets you live. Subscribe if that hit different.